generate more revenue from that base? What can we do to get, like it says here, how do I get an extra $4 or $5? You know, and instead of how can I improve the game to get more users? What do I need to do to fix all the errors that consumers are constantly telling us over, or telling my designers under me over and over and over and over again that I need to fix? Instead of fixing them, we're just going to mask it by lying to everybody and saying that we're going to fix them. Show a beautifully done up video that's going to show some boxed animations and package it up and say, oh yeah, it's brand new. But then when you get it, you get to see every single flaw, and then they're going to turn around and say, oh, we're going to fix it, and they never fix it.
What's going on, man? It's your boy MD checking in once again. SNN, Simulation News Network. CM headlines on CM Heads United. Put your U's up, man. Now, for all the people that have already seen part 1 of the death of the CM community, you're in a treat. For this one, I'm going to be discussing some of the reasons why the community is dead, and I'm going to be talking about some of the things that were in part 1, and I'm going to place it, you know, in the backdrop of what is going on right now as far as this community is concerned, quote unquote community. If you haven't seen part 1, stop this video right now, take the time out. The link will be in the description below. Take the time out, please, you know, whenever you got time, because it's a lengthy video. Whenever you get the time, go watch that video. It's important information that if you consider yourself a part of this so-called CM community, please like it, please subscribe. Some changes are coming though. I discussed that in the first video. Probably in my next, the third part of the death of the CM community, I'll be discussing some of those things further. But please go click the link down below to Death of the CM Community Part 1. Now, on to Part 2. Rise of the CM Savages. What I mean by this? Rise of the CM Savages. Desperate times. You know, after the whole fiasco with TSS and, you know, only a certain amount of people were able to eyeball exactly what was going on. You know, that's when the tension started between people that consider themselves CM heads and the people that understood the origin of what this community was supposed to be about. When you take a look at some of the things that I discussed in the first video and you place it in the backdrop of all the things that's going on now, like I said, it's so many aspects, you know what I'm saying, of what CM's supposed to be. Nobody really has a clear-cut answer as to what CM football means to us. And as we go back and take a look at some of the things that I discussed in the first part of this series, maybe you'll get a clear understanding of what I'm talking about when it comes to this so-called community being dead. Before we do that, it's some things that I want to discuss that'll probably give you a better understanding of what I'm talking about. One of the arguments that you hear from a lot of people is that we all have the same goal. What's that goal? To have the best possible football game when it comes to simulation. Okay, that's the goal, according to some. But when you're dealing with this community, you know, no doubt, of course, we have a goal, but we have to also provide a sense of direction for that goal. What I mean by a sense of direction: when you create videos, make videos, you know, because it's the same community, of course, it's going to be about football. Some may break down videos, some may just rant. Whatever you do, you know, in some sense, you're talking about sin. the simulation aspect of the game, which is, of course, like I said, from the origins of what this community was founded on, you know, the fundamental aspect of the game as it pertains to football. Okay, you provided that sense of direction based on the fact that you compared what the technique supposed to look like via NFL footage. You provided a tool in which closely replicated what we're talking about as far as the fundamental aspect of the game pertains, and that's 2K. And that's not being a 2K fanboy. And let me say this before I continue. A lot of people say 2K fanboys. What is a fanboy? A fanboy is somebody who blindly, no matter what the cause, or support a product, a person, or whatever, just for that reason only, have no facts to back up anything. The difference between being a 2K fanboy and being a football fundamentalist is that, once again, 2K was the closest ever to replicating the actual in-game aspect of fundamental football. That's it. There's no untruths about what I just said. Therefore, some people in the community are labeled 2K fanboys because they showcase this. Now, showcasing what came close and what's not, which is EA, provides a sense of direction toward the goal. The goal is to get a better football game. Now, some people say, well, suggestion videos, how is that not providing a sense of direction? And I got two statements about that. Doing a suggestion video, which we now know is basically a breakdown with no conclusion. That, you know, take your pens out, take your paper out, write that definition down. A suggestion video is a breakdown video with no conclusion. Okay, that's your definition. When you do that, you're providing knowledge, you're providing a service, because you're providing people with the knowledge that you gain based on your knowledge of fundamental football. No doubt. But when you don't come to an ultimate conclusion at the end of every video as to what this means, why is this not happening? All you're doing is giving fuel to the fires of EA's personnel when it comes to consumer awareness. Say, let's just say that you're providing fire to the middleman. When you don't come to a conclusion, it's easy for the middleman to come in and say, "Hey, look, we understand your concern. We're doing everything in our power," or the developers are doing everything in their power to fix this problem. Thank you for your consideration in our product. Here's a Madden Ultimate Team card. Goodbye. You know, here's a free copy of the game. Go spread the word. You understand what I'm saying? By having a sense of direction toward the goal that you have set for your community. Everybody wants a good game. That's outside of the community. Everybody wants a better game. I'm pretty sure casuals, and somewhere in the back of their mind, want a better football game. They know it can be better. What's the sense of direction to get us toward that goal? The sense of direction is making people understand why this is not happening. This is what's supposed to be there. It's not. Therefore, you come up with answer A, B, or C, whichever one you prefer. But give an ultimate conclusion about what the heck you are talking about. Okay? Also, when you got a goal, you're providing a sense of direction toward the goal. And going back to the standard, like I talked about in my first video, you have to think of it this way. You have to have an organized set of beliefs or values or expectations or even behavior that defines, you know, the boundary of your community. We talked about boundaries in the first video as well. Boundaries are what? This is what you can do. This is what you cannot do, as it pertains to what we are talking about. You know what I'm saying? This is my belief. The fundamental aspect should be in the game. If it's not, we have a problem. If it's not, we have to gain the resources based upon our skills and take action and provide a service to our members who feel the same way. My value is the fundamental aspect of football, and it being replicated truthfully in a football video game. I expect this to happen, and I will behave as this is not happening. So I'm angry, I'm upset, and I'm not going to tolerate it, and I will protest. I'm setting the boundary of the community. When somebody goes outside that boundary, do we not supposed to regulate the situation? And that's going to segue into this. We all know the words hater, stop talking about other people, talk about the game. What is this doing for the community? And let me speak on that. You may remember me talking about, once again, we're talking about boundaries and setting boundaries for your community. When I spoke about boundaries in my first video, I said without boundaries, what? First and foremost, the community becomes unfocused. You become unfocused because the standard in which we have set as a community as far as fundamentals of football are concerned are being fogged in your mind, and other things are coming to the light. I also said that the community becomes too diversified and uncoordinated. People that really don't understand what we're talking about and don't share our same thought process when it comes to simulation are now being considered a part of this community when they don't have the same views as us. You know what I'm saying? Layers of bureaucracy start to dictate what simulation is. And when you call these people out based on the fact that you understand the origins of simulation, at that point you become labeled. When all you're merely doing is calling the person out who is not identifying what this community is about. You know what I'm saying? They're transforming in a way what sim is, and that's essentially what has happened to this community, thus it being dead. I didn't pick what simulation was. Apex, when he first started making videos, he didn't pick what simulation was. None of us did. It was formed based on a whole quadrille of information that was displayed on YouTube, giving us an idea. That's how simulation was formed. It wasn't done by one person or a group of people. All of us came up with this. So you're telling me one person can misconstrue what sim is? No, it can't be done. That's stepping out of the boundary, and somebody must rectify it. It must be regulated for this community to move on. That's the reason why it's at a standstill. That's the reason why it's dead. It ain't on me. I'm just merely pointing it out. If you don't like it, you know, maybe you should think about where you stand as far as this community is concerned. You know what I'm saying? But on to the next topic. Like I said, in the first video, we talked about boundaries, we talked about roles. when you discuss these things and try to get an idea of who you are as this community is concerned, you have to go back to the characteristics of the community, and that's the only way you can really get an understanding of where this community is as of right now. The first, if you go back to the first video, the first characteristic of this said community was the access that we have. Do we still have access? To a certain degree, yes, we do. People still make videos. People still give out information as pertains to the fundamental aspect of the game, no doubt. But do you remember when TSS went to Community Day and they started this whole crusade of us sending them videos? And this is what I'm talking about the glorified middleman. Them sending us videos so the developers can look at it, so we can feel, that we have some type of power. That all the devs looked at my video and now, the problem's gonna get fixed. Hooray! But ultimately, that access was cut off by the community. Even though you made a video and concerned the problem, and you had a concern about a problem in the game, you sent it off to the sales stand or whoever, and that video was never seen again. So your video was cut off from everybody else. You know what I'm saying? What did I say in the first video? Everybody in the community must be able to access the community. When that access is cut off, people lose information as it pertains to what's going on with community efforts. When you implement the glorified middleman, the community, for lack of a better term, the individual members become wishful thinkers, because at this point, when you implement the glorified middleman, it gives them a sense of hope. Hey, look, we have a guy in the community that has direct contact with the higher ups. All I have to do is talk to the middleman, and he'll go talk to the higher uppers. The higher uppers will talk to the middleman will come back to me. But we all know the middleman's MO. The middleman eventually wants to be one of the higher uppers. Therefore, the middleman will tell the little man whatever the higher uppers want the little man to hear. You know what I'm saying? This is just not in our community. This is everywhere. The glorified middleman is the link between the concern of the community and the higher uppers trying to gain access to that concern and appease them in whatever way they can. That's the cheapest way they can, the best way they can. That's why you implement the glorified middleman, to essentially cut off access and make the little guy wishful thinkers. Give them hope. How do you give the city community hope? Give them a glorified middleman that's specifically talking about what they're talking about. That's how you do it. You cut off access by giving them the video directly and not putting it out there to the rest of the community. You cut the access off. You know what I'm saying? It's like squeezing the artery. It's like blocking the artery. You know what I'm saying? If you're not letting that information or that blood flow, you cutting off circulation to the main focal point. You know what I'm saying? On to the next one. The second characteristic of the same community was what? Communication. All the members of the community must be able to communicate with each other. How do we communicate? How were we communicating in the beginning? By talking about fundamental aspects of the game, comparing my thought with your thought, and coming to an ultimate conclusion. That's how it was done. We weren't necessarily talking directly with each other, but we knew what each other were talking about, and if we didn't, we came to a conclusion as to what I was ultimately saying, what you were ultimately saying, and placing it in the backdrop of what was fundamentally sound. That's the way we communicated, via video, via comment, whatever. Now, communication is merely based on opinions. This is what I think. This is what you think. Since what I think is not what you think, you go with your opinion, I'll go with mine. You see how the community has become unfocused? There is no more focus based on what the actual game represents from a fundamental standpoint. Because the access has been cut off, nobody has a clear-cut way of communicating with each other because there is no standard. Or people just don't want to accept what the standard is based on football desperation. So we're unable to communicate with each other. Ad hominem attacks, straw man and evasive arguments. All these things come into effect now. Nobody wants to talk to each other. Nobody wants to come to a conclusion. Because I'm here, you're there. Because you're there, you stay over there. I'm here, I'll stay over here. Your view is your view, my view is mine. What sense of unity is that? There's no unity in that. Both of us want a better game, but we have no sense and direction in which getting there. You know what I'm saying? The third characteristic, presence. Remember what I said, all the members must have some sort of relationship with each other. You have to be part of what's going on. Because of tensions based on the lack of communication, based on access being cut off from us, there is no presence now in the community. We have no force. Why is this? Because you got this group over here, you got this group over here, you got that group over there, and then you got me. It's gotten to a point where because people are trying to be the voice of reason, so to speak, they're not even going with what one person is saying, where one group is saying versus another group. It's just them. But they still consider themselves a part of this community. You see how messed up that is? There's no presence in this community. Because there's too many points of view. Too many points of view based on the lack of the communication with each other. Lack of the communication with each other is based on access being cut off from us. The fourth characteristic of this community, participation. Now, this is one I really want to talk about as it pertains to myself and other members that I rock with. This is the argument I hear from a lot of people. How can you guys tell me what I should be doing? You're not doing it. How are you going to tell me what I should be doing? Let me say this. It's so many ways that you can participate in this community, as long as you're doing it from a standpoint of fundamental football. Now, when I make my videos calling somebody ass out, am I doing it from a standpoint of fundamental football? Why am I calling this person out? Or why am I doing this? Or why am I doing that? it comes down to this. When I started making videos, I never thought in a million years that I would continuously make videos. You know, I just wanted to be a guy. You know what I'm saying? I never intended on making videos. Jay was the one that got me started making videos. I participate in a lot of different ways. I choose to make videos based on the lack of information, based on what's really going on as far as this community is concerned. That's the reason I'm doing this video right now. That doesn't mean I don't participate in many other different ways. I comment all the time in other videos as it pertains to simulation football. My participation is there. Other people that I do videos like this, Jay's participation is there. Apex participation is even there. When I make videos like this, it's to let people know what's really going on. If you don't do it, hey, let's go back to them, y'all. No presence. There's no presence because there's no communication. No communication because access has been cut off. You see how all this relates with each other? But anyway, man, that's me talking about the characteristics of the community and what's lacking as far as the characteristics of the community is concerned.
Thank you for calling EA. This is Douglas. How can I help you?
Hey, is this 2K? Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, can I talk to John Madden, please?
I'm sorry, sir?
John Madden.
The football coach?
John Madden, please.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not able to transfer you to John Madden.
John Madden, please.
Sir, John Madden is not a part of this customer service. He's not a part of the company. He's a spokesperson, but he's not actually a part of EA, sir.
Let me talk to John Madden about this whack-ass demo that I downloaded right now. You know, okay, I know what the problem is. Hey, how you doing, sir? Can I talk to John Madden, please? This is Bartholomew.
Sorry, sir. Did you just change your voice, or?
No, this is my real speaking voice. No, this is my real speaking voice. My name is Bartholomew, Bart for short.
Okay. How can I help you?
Well, I wanted to speak to John Madden if I could, in reference to his video game, Madden 25, the demo for PS3.
Well, sir, I'm not able to get you in touch with John Madden here. What is the issue that you have with the game, sir?
It's fucking trash, sir. I downloaded this game, and I'm playing it, and I'm actually seeing people disappear before my fucking eyes. I have phantom players. I'm being tackled by the air, by shadows. It's almost like shadow boxing. Kind of reminds me of the movie The Conjuring. Have you seen The Conjuring, sir?
No, unfortunately I haven't seen The Conjuring, but I assume what
Have you seen The Boogeyman, sir? Have you seen The Boogeyman?
Is The Boogeyman a movie?
No, The Boogeyman is fucking real because he's on my screen right now and he's tackling my players. Look, that's not why I'm calling, sir. I need to speak to someone, no, not someone, but I need to speak to John Madden himself to figure out why the fuck would they put this piece of shit out here.
Sir, again, I'm not able to get you in touch with John Madden. I don't even have John Madden's number, sir. He's a spokesperson for the company, so he's hired at a third-party basis, but he's not actually a part of our company, sir.
What's his Twitter?
I'm not exactly sure, sir.
What about his Instagram?
If you Google it, you could find it very easily.
What about his Instagram?
I don't know if he has an Instagram, sir.
Facebook group? Is he on a Facebook group? Is he on Adult Gamers?
I'm sorry?
Is he on Adult Gamers?
What is adult gamer, sir?
You don't know what Adult Gamers are? Oh my God, what the? Listen, I need to speak to John Madden right now. I'll hold. Hello? Hello? Goddamn bastard.